Hey everybody, it's Free to Play Bust. We finished up the initial impression series, and so it's time to jump back into the expeditions. We're starting up number 87 here. Let's take a look. Interesting. We'll either jump in on the Sejuani or the Vi here, but let's see what we're offered up. Um, the Sejuani pack is fairly weak. And this is, I believe, the raiding party is paired with Gangplank, and it's just kind of set around this theme of dealing damage across all the turns. I'm pretty interested in actually trying out Sejuani. It's a reasonable Karma set. Karma does tend to like deep meditations, but we're trying to jump in on these new units, and there's also a Vi. I'm kind of interested in trying out Vi as well, but this submersible I don't think is particularly good. I could see it reasonably being okay in a catastrophe deck, the Heimerdinger deck based on the actual card Catastrophe that does this same play cards with different names theme. But the way I kind of look at Submersible is that if we just compare it to the Empyrean, like the Empyrean is a 6/5 elusive 100% of the time, as to where this is, a 5/5 elusive some of the time. And so, I mean, I guess I did kind of miss on my impressions this being where it replaces itself, but in general, I think this card is just fairly weak. Not something I'm a real huge fan of. So let's jump in on this raiding party Sejuani, but let me take a look at the card pool real quick and see what we're getting ourselves into. Okay, and here's the raiding party set with the things. Immediately don't want to be playing Lonely Poro. I think it is just garbage. And then looking at all these units, it looks like they appeared to just give it all of the Overwhelm units. So I guess this Fury of the North might have a little bit more value, since Ruthless Raider, Mighty Poro, all overwhelms. Wolf Rider, I believe, is the guy that gives you a mana crystal if you have plundered. And then Ursing Spirit Walker is the big dude with, if you plunder, he flips and gives all your 5 attack guys overwhelm. So this all seems pretty reasonable. Kind of it looks to kind of also have a sub theme of the damage your own units stuff between Ember Maiden and Scar Mother Virna, along with Ruthless Raider, is kind of an idea here. But it does look like this is just going to be kind of a unit-centric, mid-rangey kind of deck is what this is putting together. This kind of just feels like the classic, what are these, Freylord kind of things to be doing. So we would ideally be trying to pair this with Gangplank, since both Sejuani and Gangplank have the same style of level up ability, and so it would be nice to just kind of pair those together. But I think the big things we'll be looking for are something to do in the early game, and then something to interact with our opponents, because most of these units are fine, but they are all centered towards the mid to the late game. Okay, so there's our Sejuani. Now let's take a look here. We didn't find Gangplank, which is a bit awkward. I want to stay away from this Enlightenment Anivia. This is the control deck Anivia, where you're trying to ramp up to your War Mother's Call. War Mother's Call would play out pretty reasonably in this kind of deck, but this doesn't really mesh well with what it looks like this Freylord raiding party are trying to do. The Spellsinger's Fizz is, I believe this pairs Fizz with Lee Sin and is centered around doing the casting a whole bunch of spells theme, and I don't think this is going to pair with us very well either. Our deck over here didn't really have any spells. I think the only spell that was listed in here was the thing that gives a unit +4/+4, and so we're really not going to be able to take advantage of these with the Freylord side. So I think I'm okay with picking up this Scout Quinn. This should also be another unit-centric kind of deck. I'll pull up the card pool here in just a moment, but we should be able to get some reasonable early game in. She kind of wants to see us attack. Sejuani wants to be doing some attacking. Perhaps, maybe, I'm not sure. We might be able to pull off some kind of like Sejuani plays to where we're maybe able to get in with a scout attack and then attack with all of our other units to get frostbites later. We'll have to see what we can kind of pull out. I was really hoping to pick up the a Bilgewater deck. We could consider Fizz in that the Bilgewater cards do give us the advantages to directly damage our opponent, because what we're really looking for to flip our Sejuani is the idea that's happening here with these Freylord units is we're attacking with overwhelms. They're going to trample over our opponent's units, and that's how we're going to be hitting our opponent's nexus. So even if we attack and get blocked, we can still hit their nexus, but that doesn't help us deal damage to our opponent on their turn. And so that's why I was wanting to pair it with Bilgewater, because Bilgewater has a lot of cards that deal damage to a unit and also the player. But I think we'll probably just end up in more of a just kind of mid-rangey unit-centric deck, and we'll have to see if we're able to actually take advantage of this Sejuani or just kind of look at him as a good unit. So let's pull up this scouted out Quinn real quick and see what we're getting into here. These are reasonable units. I'm pretty happy actually with all of these. The Tracker and War Chefs are both classically good. Greenglade Warden or Greenfang Warden I'm not real stoked about. He's the Scout Divine Shield unit, but he's fine. Badger Bear's fine. Companion's fine. Concerted Strike is something that we're really going to be looking for. It should be pretty good in our deck, and we don't really have ways to just interact with our opponent's units. So we'll be pretty cool with that. And then it looks like the rest of the way is just kind of a group of mid-rangey units and some combat tricks. So okay, I think we'll be okay with this set with this Quinn. But we'll just have to kind of see how this pans out as to whether or not we're trying to really build around this Sejuani, because I think it's going to be kind of hard to do if we're going to try to build around this Quinn. But the other thing I kind of wanted to note is both this Freylord half and this Scouted Out deck were both paired with Bilgewater, so maybe if we see some of the spells that we're looking for, we'll be able to kind of build up to this theme here. Okay, let's see how we start out here. I'm not too interested in this set. I would be okay with more Ruthless Raiders. I think this card is extremely good and will pan out regardless of which deck type we end up in. Not a real big fan of Take Heart. Over here, a pretty reasonable set with Scouted Out. Both the War Chefs is a great early game unit that we're going to be looking for. I want to try out the Warden. I don't think I like him, but I think he'll be okay. And then we will want at least one back-to-back in here, but I'm not really wanting to invest in it this early. Okay, well, I'm going on anyway. So I was going to say the tornado siren started going off. I can't tell if you can hear that on here or not, but if you can, then you're welcome. So let's see here. These are all pretty reasonable sets of cards. Like this is kind of our opportunity to jump into the Bilgewater side of Raiding Party, but these cards are not good. We're just not going to be able to take advantage of Powder Keg, and I don't really want Warning Shots in our deck. The only way I'll really take Warning Shot is if it is paired with like an extremely good Epic. So our choices are either being the Grizzled Ranger and the other Scout unit here, or if we want these Frostbite units. And I'm going to jump in on these Frostbites. I think the Brittle Steel will be extremely important for our deck here, just so we have some kind of cheap way to interact. And I think this Icebale Archer will play out pretty well with the Scout theme. This might be a mistake passing up on this Grizzled Ranger, but I think we're okay with ignoring the first one here. I don't really want to stack up on a whole bunch of these Greenfang Wardens, because I think I would rather be seeing cards like Vanguard Sergeant. I haven't got to play the Scout deck yet, but I do have it in my mind that playing a Four Demacia with Scout units and getting 2 attacks out of your Four Demacia is going to be pretty powerful. So I'm just going to jump in on these 2 interactive cards down here. Oh, man, if we want some Greenfang Wardens here, they certainly are. It certainly wants me to have like 100 of these things. I guess it does, make it pretty easy to flip our Quinns. But as commonly as we've been seeing these, I don't think we'll have much issue finding 3 or 4 of them. Over here, I don't think we're really going to be basing our deck around Sejuani, so I'm okay with giving up on the Poro, and I would be okay with more Ruthless Raiders, but it's not ultra important to pick up. We're doing okay at this stage as far as our 2-drops go. So I'm going to take this Rime Tusk Shaman and Alpha Wildclaw. I'm not usually too keen on taking these 2 expensive cards together, but I feel like our other options are not very strong, and I think I'm not quite sure the number of Alpha Wildclaws I want with Sejuani already in our deck. But I usually kind of felt like I'd always want, in these Freylord decks, I always want one Rhinetusk Shaman, and then I usually want either 2 or 3 Alpha Wild Claws. And so I think we're okay with just go ahead and taking these, and so we can kind of focus just the rest of the way on our early game. Okay, so these are interesting, especially with the scout units, but I don't think we're ever going to be able to hit our allegiance to Freylord here, so I'm going to ignore this pack. And it's going to come down if we want a Warden and an On Guard, or the Ramfang Wolf and the Catalyst, and I'm pretty interested in how this On Guard is going to pan out in this deck. Just giving all of our scout units Challenger seems pretty bonkers, and so I think this will turn out okay. And another Green Flame Warden for the deck. See, there's some more. It's an interesting set. I'm kind of interested in this Fleet Feather Tracker. This is more along the lines of the Alpha Wild Claw I would like to be taking, but I think these other packs are just a little bit more interesting. I'm not... I just see so many of this guy. I really want this Vanguard Sergeant, but I don't want 4 of these Wardens in our deck. I mean, I guess they can be okay. Like, if your opponent doesn't open attack on you, it really sucks to attack into this thing. And then, so I mean, he's good on both turns, whether or not we have the attack token or we're just playing him down defensively. But I think I'm just going to take the Tracker and the Companion. I think the Companion is an extremely good unit. It can typically battle multiple times in the same turn, right? If let's say our second turn with a Green Fang Warden, or we play it on our opponent's turn to block with it, we're really not going to get 2 attacks out of it. But it is pretty reasonable to expect to get both attacks out of this Companion. And I would like to just pick up some of these Fleet Feather Trackers to have some interaction. Okay. I'm interested in this set. I don't think we can really take advantage of Avalanche, and I don't want Catalyst of Aeons. So it comes down to these here. The Vanguard I don't like in this style of deck. I do think this is a good card, and we're typically okay to take it with about anything, but it really shines in either a Elites deck or an ultra aggressive deck, neither of which we're doing. And so I do always like having a Battle Fury in our deck, and a Laurent Protege is just an all-around pretty solid 3-drop. So this set will be okay. Okay, interesting things. If we could switch, we could make like an ultra pack out of these if we could just take one from each. But I'm going to skip on the Battle Fury. I would really like to have a Prismatic Barrier, but I don't want 2 Battle Furies in our deck. It is just way too expensive to have 2 copies of. Also really want this Harsh Winds, but this Shatter is garbage. And I would like this Fleet Feather Tracker, but this is the weakest set of these cards. We already have, a million Wardens. We have 1 Tracker. I think we're just going to jump in on the Harsh Winds here, even though Shatter's not that powerful. I have to imagine that getting in scout attacks with Harsh Winds back up is going to be extremely good. Okay, we've got a couple challengers down here, which I believe I'm going to take. We would be okay with Chain Vest. I think it plays pretty well with Scout. We don't really want Cythria, and then we've had this option before. We'd be fine to take it, but it's just the power level here is pretty low. So I'm going to jump on these challengers. Okay, this is tough because we don't have any actual removal spells. We do have a Stalking Wolf, the 3-cost Challenger Wolf, and an On Guard to kind of interact with our opponent's units. But I'm really kind of interested in this Concerted Strike as just our only way to really interact with our opponent's units. I feel like it's going to be a mistake to pass this, but I'm going to take these Flash Freeze cards. I think these are just going to play a little bit better to our theme, and hopefully we can pick up a Concerted Strike either in another pack or in a trade pick. Okay, this is a pretty easy set here. I'm not real huge on the Badger Bear. I know a lot of people like this card, but I'm just not a huge fan of cards where their only upside is stat efficiency. I'd much rather this Loyal Badger Bear be something like a Laurent Protege or a Vanguard Sergeant, since they do things other than have good stats. But I think this pack is just the strongest one we're going to find. Both of these cards are unplayable in Entreat and Catalyst. We aren't doing elite things, so we don't really want this Squire. we've passed up on all these vanguards and not really felt bad about it, so I'm not feeling bad about it here either. And I think this Blade Keeper will play pretty reasonably well to our theme. We do have some challengers already. I think it'll play well on these scout units, because like even making a Green Glade Warden a 4/4 turns him into a pretty reasonable scout unit. So I think these will be okay. Okay, here we go. Here's finally our concerted strike, along with Genvivi. I could never figure out how to play pronounce her name in the initial impressions. Like I assume it's supposed to be like Genevieve, right? But that it doesn't look right. You know, it's like Gen, Gen. Genevieve. I don't know. Whatever. But this is the set that we're excited to take. It's got this concerted strike we always wanted in it, and then this ability. I don't think she's better than the what's her name? The 6-crossed that gives your attacking units 1/1 and fearsome, but she does have Challenger Scout, and these 4/4. Challenger Scout units are extremely good. Just being able to, there's this one, and then there's the Challenger that gives an opponent vulnerable, or I think that's what it is. He says Scout gives something vulnerable. Both of these are extremely good, so I think this is a very high power level pack. Okay. So here, I think we're going to take this cheaper set. I think we've gotten away with only having 4 Green Fang Wardens when we could have had 10 to 12 of them. But we're happy to pick up a second tracker. He's okay, I guess. I don't want this Catalyst, although Stalking Wolf feels like one of the better choices out of all these units. And then these aren't really what we're looking to do. Our top end is good enough. Between Sejuani, Genvivi, and Alpha Wildclaw, we'll look to pick up, like one more expensive card along the way, I think, but we don't really need it to be a Vanguard Cavalry. We have a way to make 4 Demacia and don't actually want the spell in our deck, so I think this is pretty easy tracker and Green Fang Warden. Okay, what's Caught in the Cold? Give an enemy unit Frostbite and Vulnerable. I think I'm okay with that. I want to hang on to our On Guard. I think this is going to be extremely good. Also want to hang on to our Concerted Strike. And this Lonely Poro is just not playable. And so I don't think Caught in the Cold is going to be particularly exciting. But I think it's going to be better than Lonely Poro. I'd at least like to give it a try. See how it pans out. Okay. Here we go. I forgot. I keep forgetting in all these to change my loadout. I forgot that I went and bought new things. I didn't get emotes. So I'm not an emote user. So cool. We're good to go. Our new loadout's ready. We got two of the new champions and didn't have to just play like Thresh something. I forget what the last run I did was, but I know I had to do one run where I didn't even see a new champion and was a little bit sad. Okay, so this seems like a pretty reasonable start with these 2 drops. I don't really want to start with Concerted Strike, and I don't want to start with the Warden. I think we just have a lot better 3 drops along the way, and we have a pretty high chance of just drawing another one by the 3rd turn anyways. Good, that's a pretty reasonable start here. So I'm going to open, I believe, with War Chefs. I think we're really just going to be building to this Protege. And we're pretty okay with just not attacking. This is fine. We would have gotten a least anyways. Playing Stalking Wolf, he would just wait until we attacked to play his lease afterwards. But we can at least play it now to stop him from attacking with her. That's fine. I'm not real excited about just getting nugged for 4 this early, but it's not a huge deal. We shut down his Elise, which I think was the big thing, and I would have to assume that he's probably in a pretty heavy Spiders deck if he has the Elise along with a Noxus pairing. So I want a Blade Keeper. Well, we don't even need to Blade Keeper this. We can just hook her. So I think we just want to Protege. So then we can, if he plays something that can trade with our warships, I think that's okay. But the way this lines up is they shouldn't have good combat tricks, and then we can just hook kill Elise with this. We can support our protege and bring down his ballista. It kind of discourages him from playing better units, since we can probably just hook and kill those units. Okay, this attack looks good. Right, because he, you know, you can see the lineup we have to just hooking his ballista, but this really does discourage him from playing a lot of units, since we can kind of just change our mind on what we plan on hooking. That's fine. It's not the best for us, but his board was a lot stronger than ours, and we did, you know, even up with a 3 for 3. And now we're looking to just play our big boomers behind here. Oh, here comes his aggression. Okay. He's not playing Darius, so that's at least a perk here. And I don't think we're going to want to play Jin Vivi next turn. I think we're cool with just playing the companion. Probably play Green Fang Warden and get these double attacks in, and see how things go from there. Do we want to play Jin Vivi? It just feels like something we'd rather be playing next turn. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and get this Green Fang Warden going. I'm going to play the Warden and the For Demacia unit. And then next turn we can Harsh Winds him if we need to. We should still have good combats the whole way here, and then try to get Jin Vivi online on our next attack. Awkward. Okay.
Ready, boy?
Sure.
Before they organize.
Okay. Don't quite understand that play, but we're fine to just play the Sergeant and then have good blockers for next turn. And we still kind of have this spot to where if he doesn't open on us, then we can Ice Veil Archer something. Then we can still Harsh Winds. We can hit everything on his board if we want. I'm mainly interested in having a good Jin Vivi next turn.
A true Freljordian welcome. Who's gonna get in my way?
Behind you.
Okay, so I mean, is this where we want to burn our Harsh Winds? I'm kind of interested in, I want to be keeping both of my scout units, but then we're not going to have mana to be able to do both of these next turn. So our next thing to look at is, can we actually deal with this battering ram? And we can. We can Jin Vivi him down, which I think is going to be pretty reasonable. So let's get this, get
If it's a
this,
fight they want,
get
away
this,
with you,
and
stranger.
then I want to protect my scouts. Okay, let's making this trade here. Like he has something. I feel like we're going to get hit with a might or something, which is okay. Might here would be a bit unfortunate, but okay.
Noxus lives on.
Damn it!
Oh, and a 2-drop? Okay, okay. That's huge. We're just going to annihilate his board now.
can't fight back, but I can.
Okay, so we can do this challenge, and this is still a good attack. And then we can flip things around on our next attack if we want. We can try and take this down with Gen VV if we want. Okay. That's annoying. But not the end of the world. So this is going to be an 8, and as it stands it's going to trample for 2. So he's going to need something else to kill us. I do feel like he has a might in his hand, so we might just be dead here. But let's see if he opens on us or not. I'd love to get Alpha Wild Claw on board.
For the glory of Noxus.
I think we're okay. We could have considered playing 4 Demacia here, but I think we'll be okay with playing this next turn.
Clear it out.
I protect my own.
Pretty easy blocks. If he has a Might, we're dead, or an Elixir of Wrath. There's a lot of things that kill us here, but Calling Strike isn't it. Okay. Alright, we should be in pretty good shape now. Can't tell if we can actually kill him here. If we want to 4 Demacia, we can spend 7 mana on units. So we can play Greenfang Warden. Then we can Laurent Bladekeeper up our little guy here. And then we can 4 Demacia and get in for some big attacks.
War Mason,
Okay.
reporting for duty. Make the Empire proud.
For the honor of my house.
I think this is lethal. I'm pretty sure this is just lethal, yeah. Because he's gonna block both of these, and then we'll get in for 14 plus 5. We'll get in for 19 on our second attack. Okay. There's the power of those combat tricks with the scout units. Just getting in double attacks is super big.
Path ends here.
Okay.
Oh, where that came from. Look out!
Good game, friend. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to want the Quinn. I think we're really just going to be able to take advantage of Quinn more in these decks. I think we're much more a scout deck than we are a Sejuani deck. So I think this is going to be the one that we want. I do worry about this pushing up our curve a little bit too high with all of these being expensive units. But I just don't think we can really pull off this stuff. It's kind of hard for us to plunder. I mean, we can kind of reasonably expect units like Greenfang Warden to get in. Nobody really wants to block him when he has Divine Shield, but I think if we're going to have to take expensive cards, I think we're fine with just stacking on Quinn. Pretty cool with Grizzled Ranger and the Companion. This is fine. Just kind of have to be mindful of our curve. I'm pretty sure we won because we just changed our loadout. This is the way we do this. I know I'm just playing Expeditions all the time on here, but I'm still planning on keeping this to be a free-to-play account. But I do feel like it's important to support Riot. even throughout this adventure, even though I'm keeping the account free to play. So I'm fine with going in and buying the deck or the battlefield things to help support them in the game. So here, let's get rid of Harsh Winds. I kind of want to keep this Blade Keeper since it plays so well with both the Stalking Wolf and the Tracker. And I think we can just move on from here. But okay, this is fine to trade. But yeah, as someone that played, you know, Magic competitively, and then with Hearthstone, I pretty much just bought all the cards as soon as the set came out. I'm kind of just, you know, done with Blizzard and Hearthstone, but I am kind of okay with still spending some amount of money here. I think Riot should get some kind of monetary reward for the game. But let's see here. I don't want to play any of these units. I want to let him just go ahead and attack, and then we'll just block his tracker if he wants to get in with it. If he doesn't, that's okay, and then we'll just play a unit after he attacks. This is fine. We can just hook down Lucian next turn. Interesting. I think I like this. Adding the Green Fang Warden doesn't do a whole lot here. I feel like he probably has a combat trick to save the solution, but this is still a fine attack. I think there's a reasonable chance we just get hit with Brittle Steel. I'm going to attack it with the Wolf though, because I do want to play around like a Radiant Strike. I think this is okay. You know, if he has like the Brittle Steel, this gets stopped either way. But if he does have, you know, Radiant Strike, that's kind of our out to dealing with it. Sure. Does not feel worth a card. What up, Quinn? Do we ever just want to bank all this spell mana? I don't think so. Let's, This is okay. This should be able to challenge down about anything that he plays, then we can still hook this with the Wolf if we want.
We Demacians are no easy prey.
Okay. Must have just had an awkward draw there. I assume that's the best thing you're doing against a growing board is giving future units +1/+1, then you're in a pretty awkward hand, probably a lot of expensive cards. Okay, want to keep our on guard. Blinding Assault, eh. Interesting. If we want to pick up Prismatic Barrier, I think I'm okay with keeping Brittle Steel. Because our deck does lean expensive, and so I really appreciate this value of just being able to play this for 1 mana. I think we're okay with keeping all of these. Okay, Nautilus Zed Karma. Wonder how that comes about. So yeah, I'm kind of tempted to keep this Quinn. We're on the even, so it makes it a little awkward. We can probably get rid of that and look for something a little cheaper. Battle Fury's not a little cheaper, but I kind of wanted something to just interact with this Ice Veil Archer. Yeah, this draw's kind of awkward. Maybe we should have got rid of the Archer and the Warden as well, but then it's like, what are we even keeping? Um, it's just awkward set. We just got the utility and not the meat. Okay, I think I'm cool just banking up to 3. Sure, we're certainly not playing an Iceveil Archer into this thing, so that's fine. If he opens, we don't particularly care, and we're getting to where we can start playing bigger things. It is kind of important to hit actual curve cards from this point forward, but I think this is okay. Let's Frostbite this. I'm okay with trading with his Bark Beast if he wants to attack with it, and then otherwise this is fine to just take. We can start getting in with the Warden next turn. Awkward ass hand. Okay.
What do you see, boy?
So, I mean, we're going to make Bark Beast a 3/3, but if we were okay with trading with it last turn, I'm pretty sure we're okay with just trading with it again this turn. And so you're getting one of these units off board. Oh, lets us do it.
Get bloody. Get
Highly
paid.
surprised to see that be a thing. Okay. Oh man, we needed like just actual anything.
Road's got a toll, and you're paying.
Night falls.
This is fine. We can go ahead and play a spell on this. I think this is champion we care about Zed. I think I'm okay with just flash freezing this thing. Like it. We're gonna flash freeze. We're gonna caught in the cold something. Probably the Shadow Assassin. And then at least still get to bank this 3 spell mana before we can play all these. Start playing our big units. The vulnerable is going to fall off. Or the frostbite's going to fall off. That's all just this round. Oh, that's garbage. Okay.
Where there is life, there
Okay.
is hope.
There's our caught in the cold target. Okay, so who do we want to play here? I think we can like frostbite vulnerable Karma. We can frostbite vulnerable Bark Beast, or I think we can leave Bark Beast. We can hit. We want to hit Shadow Assassin. Let's go ahead and start taking his stuff down.
You own what you take.
Okay, so let's take this good scout attack. And let's hook Karma.
Ride onward.
Okay. It's like things are starting to turn. For 3 health? Okay. Sure. Okay. Would like to get this Karma off the board, but we're just gonna have to play through it, I guess. At least we're getting our big guys online now. see. We could play the companion and bank 2 spell, or the spell mana to go up to 3. The next turn I'll have access to 11 mana, but can't really Battle Fury anything. So let's just be efficient here. Sure. I think this is okay. I mean, we'll realistically take 1. Yeah.
And punch. You point, I shoot.
No karma. Yeah.
Away with you, stranger.
Maybe we should have blocked the dredgers. I think that's great.
Left foot, left foot.
Sure. Okay, gonna need to win this quickly before this karma takes over. So I mean, we can play Tracker, Archer, Companion, and then still have Brittle Steel. It's gonna have to be okay. Don't really need to Archer anything. Let's go ahead and do this. He'll block Spider on here, then we can Archer this down after the fact, so it's not going to have good blocks. Sure.
Give me a sweet bun. Heightens the senses.
The quality of his cards is extremely low, so I think if we can make it to next turn, we might be able to blow him out with Battle Fury. I do worry about something random he's picked up with Karma, but otherwise I think this is okay. Let's hook you. No good blocks here, no good blocks here. Save you for the attack on our turn. Okay. Sure. Nothing we can do about that. That's pretty bad. He was our path to victory. Pretty far behind now. But I can see us just Battle Furying this companion and getting in that way. We can Battle Fury the Warden.
Silent as death.
We protect these woods as they protect us.
Alright, so we have to Brutal Steel the Shadow Assassin. And then I think, do we want to just go ahead and play Genvivi? Probably do. Because we have to have enough blockers for all these.
I'm here. What do you need?
I think the two of us can handle anything.
They cannot hide.
Okay. He's going to get the draw card here, which is awkward. But let's see what we can do with this Battle Fury. I don't think it's going to be enough, but we'll see. We'll see.
The answer lies within.
Okay, so we can't do both, which is a problem. I mean, I guess technically we can Battle Fury Genvivi and hook down his Abyssal Eye. So how do we want to approach this? Because if we just attack with our scouts, he's going to put this thing in front of here, he's going to put this thing in front of here, and then it's just our scout attack isn't very good. We can play Quinn, but Valor's just not going to be enough. We have to deal with these elusives.
These woods belong to us.
Awkward. Okay. that's gonna do it.
Even the strong-willed can succumb to the lure of power.
Let's see if we at least draw something that can get us out of this mess. I don't think we have it. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Okay. Oh, that's a frustrating one. The quality of that guy's deck was extremely low. Our draw was too awkward there. We just right from the start we just didn't have we just had all of our utility and not our good early game curve units. So let's see. We're pretty okay with this. Getting out the shatter we don't want for prismatic barrier, which we're pretty okay to have. We still want to keep on guard even though we haven't drawn it. And the warden is. This would be an upgrade, the Warden, for the Grizzled Ranger, because we really don't want 4 of these Wardens, but getting rid of the Shatter is just much more important. Okay, on to the next one. All the Relentless. I'm kind of interested in trying out the Relentless with all the scout units. It's one of my more appreciated decks when it was just the base set. Here we can get rid of everything and look for cheaper units. Against what is likely an aggressive deck, we'll want something to do. Okay, we'll offer up the trade on his tracker. Not real excited about it, but he does have ways to make this block bad next turn. Like if he plays a Legion Drummer here, he's just gonna nuke our bird.
You're covered.
Or that. Okay, we can technically frostbite it, but I don't think that's a high enough value target to hit with Caught in the Cold.
Who does not know the name Laurent?
Okay, let's see if we can at least start getting some 2-for-1s going to make up for losing our bird.
Flavor and spice. Harry, riposte hardly fair.
You have to assume this is pretty safe, and then if he wants to hook kill our protege, that's fine. That's kind of the maximum value we were expecting to get out of this unit. It's another awkward set. This is
Where you go,
we're having curve problems.
We protect these woods as they protect us. Batter 'em! Justice by my hand. No one goes hungry.
So, I mean, a block here only puts 1 damage on it, but I think this is okay.
Away with you, stranger.
I'd rather just prevent this 5, and we can hook something with the protege should we feel the need. Okay, so I mean, we're definitely going to be playing Rhymetusk Shaman. I'm okay with the hook here. We can also try to deal with this now. Maybe this is an okay time to use Caught in the Cold. This guy's going to get out of hand, and it makes our scout attacks still good. So I think I'm okay with this. It can still be minorly awkward for him to play units here since we do have a challenger on board, but anything that he plays can likely survive a challenge. Yeah.
We go. He smells something.
And I want to get his challenger off the board because we're going to be playing Rhymetusk Shaman this turn. The Shaman should nuke this thing, and I want to keep this protected in case he has a combat trick. We should be able to protect it pretty reasonably against whatever cards he has. Noxus does have that thing that lets you sacrifice a unit to deal 3 damage to something, which is kind of scary, but as long as it's a combat-related problem that he's presenting us, then this should be pretty safe.
Nothing gets between me and my mark.
Okay, I think I'm okay with just dropping Sejuani here. Well, or we'll probably need to drop it next turn to deal with this Quinn. I think there's a good chance we'll just Brutal Steel this Valor. I don't want to harsh winds here, so I think this is fine.
Into the face.
Scouting ahead.
Okay, so he's not going to make a scout attack. That's fine. Assume this is going to hook our Shaman, and then we can just Brutal Steel it down.
Can't fight on an empty stomach. A fight.
Okay. Alrighty. Hopefully this gets us ahead. Maybe a block here would have been good, but I was just fully intending on Sejuaniing this down and not having to spend a Brutal Steel there, so we didn't make the block.
Oh, look. One savage beast riding another.
Is this the humor of your people?
This is the humor of my people. Sure.
We go.
Okay, and I'm willing to send Sejuani into one of these things.
Ride onward.
We can start getting our harsh winds online on this stuff. I think we're in a pretty reasonable spot here. If we get to take down you know, one of these big scouts, I think that's a win for us. Okay.
Ice runs in our veins.
Seems pretty reasonable here. I think I want to Blade Keep Quinn, but we'll see what happens here, because we can't actually play Quinn this turn if we want to start doing that kind of thing. But we do have 10 mana, so this Blade Keeper is a safe play. So let's do that. We'll just boot Sejuani.
With blades in hand. He smells something.
Never play fair.
Okay, there's our harsh winds. Definitely don't want to be seeing him double hitting with Katarina. We can take a bit of damage here. This is kind of my problem with this unit, is he is reasonably ignorable.
They're afraid. They should be.
He's not going to make a scout attack. Seems fine. Okay, I think we can let him just pick up this Katarina here. I think we'll get a better harsh winds in the future.
Ha! They'll never know what killed her.
Sure. It seems irrelevant, but I guess he could have a Noxian Guillotine or something.
Sends chills up my spine.
Okay, so let's get Quinn going.
Demacian needs heroes.
You still don't count yourself, boss?
Her attack is awkward, since you know he just has these big chill wind yetis here.
Strength and
That's
grace.
fine.
Beauty.
So let's at least kill the unit that we can kill. We can technically hook this one if we want to get a Quinn attack in, but that doesn't seem super high value.
No!
Never play fair.
Okay, so I mean Sejuani's going to attack. That's the only one that looks reasonable. I think we're going to get him good on the back end whenever he tries to hit us with this rally attack.
Let's dance.
Really?
I'm not
I
done.
don't think he knew how Katarina works.
You call this a fight? Hardly fair.
Okay, so I mean he's got a card here, right? I think he almost always has a card here. So I'll want to wait until afterwards for this to hit. I'm going to just go ahead and block here because I think it becomes too obvious if I just put Harsh Winds in front of this. Oh, I didn't have a card. Okay, just planning on getting it next turn. That's fine.
Smell that? A fight's a cooking.
The frost reveals all to me.
Flavor
Sure.
and spice.
No, we probably should have played Stalking Wolf to block this thing. Ew, that was not
Feel
good.
the sizzle.
At least not scout attacking anyways. Okay.
Batter him. Aha. Eat up, friend.
Okay.
I pity you.
I think I'm willing to lose Sejuani if something goes absolutely wrong here.
Got you in my
I
sights.
think this is way more important to protect. Oh, hang on, that's going to be a 4/4. I think we can take 4 and be okay with it. Oh, it did already get boosted. What was I thinking? I should have blocked this with Quinn. Sure. Okay.
I refuse.
Sends chills up my spine.
That was a big draw. I didn't play this up to this point particularly well. I don't think we can get it in a scout attack. But this is still a good hook here. These other attacks are still reasonable.
Feel the sizzle. Hug out.
Just like hunting thresher
This,
geese.
we do have the concerted strike in case something goes completely wrong, but I think we're going to be able to save this for a higher value unit.
Stand strong.
Okay.
Ice runs in our veins.
Demacian needs heroes.
Like that one. I mean, we're finally going to lose our shaman. I think. We'll have to see what he does here. I don't think he can like try to hook kill Quinn. That's fine. Okay.
To the ice.
So that'll hit here.
Scouting ahead.
What do we think about going ahead and hitting his Quinn? He doesn't have any cards.
Protect
Um,
and strike.
I don't think we need to protect warships. Then the idea being is we can open attack with a Green Fang Warden and that'll turn on our Quinn, and then she'll be flipped and be able to actually kill his reasonable units. So I think we can do this, we can do this, we can kill his Quinn, choose an enemy to ally, strike it, strike an enemy, choose an ally, choose an ally. Okay.
Rangers, with me! Valor!
A morsel of quickly before they organize.
I gladly serve.
Okay. So now we can attack the thing. This is going to flip Quinn, and then she should be protected. I mean, he can draw a unit that'll you know, challenge our Quinn, but you know, he needs at least a 3/3. Oh, that's an intriguing block.
Good dog.
Must have drawn
Steady aim.
something strange. I don't know what he would have drawn here to wear. He wanted to make that initial block, but okay. Must be some spell he can't cast. Relentless Pursuit. Yeah, that's awkward. Okay, this should do it. Yeah, that's that's awkward. I'm sorry, friend.
We're safe. For now.
For now, we're safe. Thanks, Quinn. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna have to take this Quinn stack. I'm really worried about our curve. We need to, I mean, just looking here, we do have, I mean, a bunch of 3s and a reasonable number of 2s, but some of these are just kinda awkward. But we don't want shared spoils or take heart. I'm fine with kicking up to 3 Quinns. Riposte should be good, back-to-back should be good. These are both cards that we want in the scout deck. At this point, I'm just more worried about our early game. But you know, we don't really have any options here to change the facts of our early game not being as good as we want. Probably a reasonably similar kind of deck from the last game. I think we can get rid of the Sergeant. I think I actually do want to hang on to this Green Fang Warden here. I think he has a lot of value against what is probably an aggressive Noxus deck. And then the Badger Bear should be pretty good as well. Oh, cool. Maybe this isn't a Nox and Might Darius, though. Okay. A little awkward, but not the end of the world.
We protect these woods as they protect us.
Do we just want to play our own here? I don't really want that putting damage on the Badger Bear. I think I'm okay with this.
What do you see, boy? He smells something. Away with you, stranger! Or where that came from.
Okay.
Come on.
So this seems fine. He can play some cards that make this awkward.
Quickly to me. I'm gonna need
I think giving him Badger Bear is okay. Let's get these scout attacks in.
Smell something.
I assume if he doesn't block the initial attack, he's not blocking the second one. Why wouldn't you just block these initially?
Good dog.
It gives you so many opportunities for things to go wrong. Okay.
Nothing gets between me and my mark.
Hot damn is the boss. You best start running.
A bit of a problem.
I suppose.
Okay, I'm fine with just taking to 4 here. And then I will block it with Bird on the comeback if he wants to attack again.
Time to get rowdy.
Right, because I'm never gonna have a way to hook and kill his Quinn. We can do it with Jin Vivi, which is likely what we'll end up doing here. That actually pans out pretty nicely.
With me!
And I'm pretty okay with hooking Quinn with Jin Vivi, letting this combat happen, and then getting a barrier hook on the next turn. That actually seems pretty nice. Sure.
Hold nothing back.
Okay. We'll go ahead and deal with this thing while we can. This will open us up to a good Harsh Winds next turn. That's fine. The longer we can keep old Gen VV on board here, that's just so much better for us. We can take this 4 again.
There's my beauty.
And then this lines up the big old Gen VV Battle Fury. Should we wish to do that next turn?
Time to get rowdy.
Oh, that's awkward. Oh, interesting. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. That was a very good on guard.
Eyes bigger. Beamer.
Okay. Okay, so that didn't pan out as well as I would have hoped.
Nothing gets between me and my mark.
Not actually going to attack with these. It does make it a little awkward for him to play units, but the idea here is I'm just going to play... okay, there's no attacks. We'll get in with... we can actually do this.
You'll pay.
A Demacian soldier is worth 10 foes.
Okay. Are we gonna spend it? I think we are gonna spend this Battle Fury. I don't think there's any tricks that really punish this, and we're just gonna load up Quinn.
That's far enough.
I don't think this is too all in. Okay, we should be in a pretty excellent spot now.
I stand for Noxus.
Okay, okay. Ooh, and a back-to-back. Just an embarrassment of riches. This will be good. We need to afford Demacia to protect our Quinn, so she can represent getting her second attack in.
Just like hunting thresher geese.
Keep them back.
And then we'll get a pretty monstrous back-to-back as our next play.
Remember the
It's fine.
fallen. Still heart, steady aim.
Okay.
My ass.
Ooh, that is scary. I mean, we do have the harsh winds to deal with this Darius, but if he pops us for a point, that's not that great for us. Okay, I'm just going to play Shaman. This way we can still harsh winds in the middle of combat if we need to. Okay, good deal. Good deal.
Great. Now let's get back out there.
So let's see. Want to keep on guard. You got to see that game how we're kind of envisioning on guard working. I think we want to keep all of these. We definitely want to keep our Vanguard Sergeant, and we have one back-to-back, and we don't want a second one. So we can skip all those. How's that built over? The two Noxus champions? I wonder where the build over comes at. I haven't had time to completely learn all the card pools as it stands. This is a pretty reasonable hand. It's gonna be... it kind of sucks that we're on odd attacks with this, but I still think this is fine. This should be enough to take over the early game until we're able to get our mid-rangey stuff online. Could technically not play anything here to just bank up to this prismatic barrier, but I think getting actually on board is okay.
Let's take this puppy for a spin.
I'll make this trade if he wants.
Feel the sizzle.
Hold still.
A morsel of the crit.
It is kind of awkward in that, you know, we do have the support unit with the Challenger in hand, but I think against, you know, this, you know, Noxus deck and most Noxus decks in general, we're going to be much happier with just ensuring that the board's clear and trying to get into the later game with our real units. That's fine. Like, I don't think they can out mid-range our Freylord cards here.
If they don't break,
Sure.
they'll burn. Remember the
Sure.
objectives. For the glory of Noxus.
I wish you could see what I'm doing, Quinn.
I found my family. My
Okay,
blood.
that guy's gonna be a touch of a problem. I assume he's gonna get a reasonable amount of value out of this thing.
Try to
Yeah.
understand. I matter, you don't.
But it did take him a long time to get to be doing what his deck is trying to do. We're gonna have an extremely good Quinn next turn.
What brings you here?
Beauty and fire. Demacian needs heroes.
So we do have to be kind of mindful against this kind of Noxus deck. They do have a lot of ways to just ping down our prismatic barriers.
What have they
but
done to that poor
I
beast?
think we should be okay. This is fine for the moment. We don't have good attacks into it, but we can still at least hook this guy down. I don't think there's a whole lot of value in bringing him down, but we can have value in protecting our Valor, because I do want to get my Quinn to flip. So let's actually...
Gotta survey the battlefield.
Is this worth a... No, that just doesn't seem worth a card. Because we're going to have to deal with this thing.
Valor!
But we have time. We have a number of frostbites to try to bring this thing down. 4 Demacia will be pretty good as well. Not sure how Concerted Strike works with this guy. I'm pretty sure it's like these units directly attacking this thing. So I don't know if my units can actually bring this down. He's not playing Darius, so we can reasonably take the hit. I just don't really want to die to chip damage, being the problem here. I think this Flash Freeze is okay.
Discipline and steel.
Right, here's going to be our 4 Demacia. We want to bank 3 spell mana.
You're late.
Okay, this all seems fine. Okay, then the question starts to become, I think what we want to do is we can 4 Demacia, and then we have some good challenges. Then we can also Caught in the Cold and have Prismatic Barrier back up. Okay, I'm on board.
Stand strong.
If they don't break, they'll burn.
Sure. Okay, this seems reasonable. We could have gotten this guy online, maybe we should have, but I think this is okay. Let's do our hooks like this, because we're probably just going to be barriering Quinn, depending on who he blocks with. I assume he's going to put a 2 in front of her and then try to 5 her next turn. And we want to try to barrier through the 5. Ooh, this is good, he's doing it first, so if he has a way to pop our barrier, then we can not worry as much, because we could just not attack with her on the second attack.
Will you be quiet?
Sure.
Glory unrelenting.
Your path ends here.
Oh man, is he just gonna nug me to death? Or is he just trying to get value out of his units while he has them? That's kind of scary. Definitely want to bank the mana to protect our Quinn. I think we should be okay from this point forward. I think this Concerted Strike can counterspell one of those Noxus face cards. Oh god, is he just going to burn me out with Mystic Shots? Oh, come on. Yep. Alright. So, I mean, maybe we should have gotten in with... We could have played that other scout unit, the 3-drop scout. It just felt more important to save our Quinn. At any rate, let's see here. I don't think we can make any of these trades. We have to keep our Concerted Strike. I still want to keep On Guard. I would be okay with Ruthless Raider for a post, but our curve is such a mess. I really want to keep this 2-drop that we can actually play early, right? Because we really don't want to be playing Icevale Archer on turn 2, unless it's in conjunction with the Fleet Feather Tracker. I think we're okay to keep that. So let's get rid of these 5s. A touch awkward. I've been pretty happy with how the Bladekeeper plays in this deck though. Have to push his value up a little bit when we're in these scout decks. Okay, he does nothing. Didn't draw anything to play. We were likely going to open attack here 100% of the time anyways.
This land
Sure.
is ours.
He's in the deck we're in. I assume he started Braum Gangplank and then picked up the Sejuani later. I think I'm okay with trading here. Like, if he has something we really want to take down, we can do it with the Wolf. Getting a spell for this is fine. Okay. Sure. Alright, let's get some of the values here while we can.
The halls are bound with blades in hand. Against the Laurent?
Sure. Okay. Alright. Didn't seem like that game was over, but so let's see here. I've been moderately happy with how this Caught in the Cold has performed, but I think I just want to pick up the War Chefs because just to have these early game units just feels like what we're really looking for. I'm happy with the Brittle Steel over Barrier. Definitely don't want Shatter. So let's make this swap. Caught in the Cold has played pretty well though, much better than I expected out of it. We've gotten some pretty good value. That might have been a poor choice. I just feel like our early game really is what needs solidified here. Okay, move it on. Let's see here. Let's see, what is this? Our first encounter with Misfortune. That's lovely. How did he end up with this, where he didn't just take multiple misfortunes? That strikes me as very odd. Very odd. But at any rate, let's hang on to Brittle Steel and our Warden. Maybe we should be digging, like getting rid of the Warden to dig for 3 attack units, so that we can try to battle with his Misfortune, along with Brittle Steel. But, I mean, we at least got there with Ruthless Raider, but maybe we should have gotten rid of the Green Fang Warden. It's a touch awkward, because I'm really wanting to keep my Raider to deal with his stronger units than I have. Then we also, we have like Green Fang Warden that we're not wanting to play, unless it's kind of our attack. I think we can still get Raider online. Let's see what happens here. Then just pass. I think this is more appropriate.
What do you see, boy? Feel the sizzle!
Okay. And then, I think we just let this happen. I'm not super worried about this. We're not going to have a good attack back now that he has Badger Bear online. I think that's okay.
Bertrand, quickly to me.
I'm gonna need.
Then the question becomes, do we want to get this to a -1 health so we can brittle steel it? And I think we do. I think there's a pretty decent chance he just lets us bang through for 4 here. And then we can brittle steel this down on a different attack.
This?
Should be pretty obvious that we're up to shenanigans when we make the second attack here. But, right, because why would we attack with the Green Fang Warden if we were just going to follow up with the Badger Bear? But I think this is okay. If he has like a riposte or something and wins this combat, I think we're fine with that. Okay, I'm still going to brittle steel this down, but I was thinking, you know, now that we have access to Quinn, this is something that we can just hit with Bird, so perhaps we should have done that, but trading our 1 mana brittle steel for his 4 mana riposte is certainly okay in my books. I'm trying to just eat this. We're going to Quinn here. This will definitely hook here. We're going to have 2 Green Fang Wardens to play next turn, which I'm pretty excited about. We'll see how it goes. We also have the option to use Iceveil Archer on some amount of this. I think I'm not super worried about that. We'll just be not attacking with Quinn.
You two are a welcome sight.
Right, because we can attack with these, he'll probably just take the damage from these Wardens, but if he does block, that turns our Badger Bear attack as good into this companion.
He smells something.
No! I fight for the fallen.
Awkward.
Ready, boy?
This is fine. He won't lifesteal off of blocks here. Okay, so let's see what else Swag Like Caribou has for us here. I'm wanting to keep at least 1 scout, because I want to get a scout attack next turn so I can attack with Quinn. But I think this is okay. Like, we can put something in front of this here, then we can Iceveil Archer as Radiant Guardian to stop this attack. And then next turn we could try to Sejuani down his Radiant.
A true Freljordian welcome.
All in all, seems pretty reasonable. We'll have to see what we draw. This is kind of one of these spots where it was like, through all these games, I felt like I haven't had enough top end, and now it's just like, man, I hope I really draw some top end. Give me some Genvivis and Battle Furies to close out this game. Drawing like a War Chefs does not feel super exciting at this point.
Cavalry to the field.
Sure. I think we can just take this. Okay. Okay. Flavor and spice.
My bird could beat up your board. Enough.
What's she say? My bird can beat up your boar? Is that what she says? Is that Quinn? Is that Quinn text? I'm not familiar with all the League of Legends lore that goes into these things. But let's get this hook here. Let's go ahead and get you in. We still have some protection for Quinn should we need it, if he has like another riposte or something here. But she's certainly going to be flipping this turn. See, I don't know. Like these frostbite vulnerable attacks are so good. It makes me wonder. We cycled out that one card for War Chefs that gives a unit frostbite vulnerable. I'm feeling like we want more. Want more of that. This is fine.
Good dog.
Okay, so this attack is going to flip Quinn. Her token should target this. And so our Sejuani should be okay. None of this is particularly scary, I don't think.
Ride onward.
Leaping into action.
Scouting ahead.
My arrow won't miss.
Right? Right. So we should be able to block with this.
No one escapes my
I don't know if she gets bird when she attacks. Okay, she does. Good deal. That's what I kind of imagined happened, but I wasn't 100% sure if that was how this play actually worked. This is Quinn, right? What a fucking weird art. It's just bird. What the hell? Flipped Quinn, prominently featuring bird. Is she the bird? Does she actually transform into the bird? I don't remember.
Don't let them reinforce.
Jeez, who knows? Is that too that she's not in bird form anymore? Is that what? I don't know. Somebody that knows League of Legends lore would have to properly inform me on big draw on Quinn's status as bird form. I thought she transformed, but I don't know. Okay. So how do we do this to where we don't get blown out by a harsh wind or by a back-to-back or something? 'Cause I want to block everything. But how bad do we get bamboozled if this goes wrong? That's the problem. Like if he has a back-to-back or something here. I think I just want to block with Bear and Sejuani, leave Quinn behind. So if we're going to do that, then let's do it like this. We still get boomered by back-to-back.
Bring me chaos.
But I think that will still at least save our Sejuani. Back-to-back doesn't, it just saves his units. Okay. We're fine with that. And this is still taking 4 damage to break through the tough. Take 5, fall to 4. You might get boomed by there is like the deal 2 damage to something, 4 damage to player. Maybe we should have just blocked here to be safe, but yeah, that felt like a back-to-back. And who do we help with the Blade Keeper? Everything's gonna have 5, so we'll just protect Quinn. We could technically just wait a turn. Are we gonna open on him? What if we open? Then Quinn is going to be for 2. Bird is gonna hit this thing. No, Bird's gonna hit this. We'll just hit Quinn.
For the honor of my house.
This doesn't feel ultra good for us. Okay, so we attack with Quinn. Little Bird hits this thing, then he just blocks Quinn with First Blade. That doesn't seem too good. What if we just attack with Sejuani and Wild Claw? Because we're never going to lethal him this turn. He's going to gain too much health from Radiant. Yeah, because we would just be trading Quinn for this thing and putting 1 damage on this. That just does not feel good. He doesn't have any good blocks on Wild Claw. I'm okay with trading off Sejuani. Sejuani's just here as like a Wild Claw. She's never going to flip. I think this is okay. This is scary with him having the card advantage here. Maybe...
Take your time.
Maybe we should have
Make a
blocked
difference.
here. Maybe we should have blocked all 3 and then just frostbitten the things that were in front of our 2 champions and then tried to get the trade with this. And then our attack here would look a little better. At least we'd be trading Quinn for Radiant Guardian. Oh shit, a Tiana.
Never falters.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Not a lot we can do about that. I'm not sure what our plan is to come back in this game. We need either, barriers to save our Quinn, or we need Battle Fury or something. But he rallied and didn't attack. That seems pretty good for us. Okay, now we can safely just trade off our Quinn, given the opportunity.
Looking for trouble.
There's Misfortune.
It found you.
Okay.
All in a day's
Oh
work.
god. Okay. Alright, so I mean we have to bird or we just die. But I don't think we can come back from this combo. This card is incredibly, incredibly good.
Yield or perish.
This is like, check out all these perfect blocks I'm gonna get. You can put Badger Bear in front of Misfortune just because it's gonna get domed down. I don't have any cards. Like this is over. We'll save some time here. Yeah, I do think I messed up that Harsh Wind's turn. I should have just blocked everything and then just protected my champions. I was spot on with him having back-to-back. What that felt like was going to happen, and so we could have played that a little bit more appropriately. Here, I don't want to make any of these trades. We have 1 Battle Fury, don't want any more. I have 1 Rhine Tusk Shaman. That's the exact number of those I want. And Fleet Feather Tracker is a little bit better than Starlit Seer. We don't really have the spells in our deck to power up a Starlit Seer. Okay, let's see if we can get the 6th win here. Wiesenheimer. Here come the spells. Okay, this is kind of that problem we had before, to where these cards are just like a little bit too awkward for our early game. I think I'm going to hang on to the... We could probably even get rid of Vanguard Sergeant, actually. Like, we have so many 3-drops. I really just want to be shooting for like Fleet Feather Trackers or something generally cheaper. And then kind of the idea was that even if we get stuck with like a Green Fang Warden at a 3, I think I'd have been okay with it.
Happy to do whatever's
But
needed.
this is definitely not the opening our deck is trying to pull off. But
Excuse me?
things are picking up. Better get these Badger Bears going.
Oh, if mushrooms
Puffcat Peddler is fine. Let's see. I don't see much need in keeping back a riposte for either of these units. These are both going to be pretty strong attackers. The worst that he can really do to us here is play like a chump wump. Mystic Shot's fine. None of his units can trade with what we have, so if we get a 3-for-1 out of that scout unit, we're pretty happy with it.
Sure, boss.
Sure. So right, that's essentially what we had happen there, right? We played our scout unit, it took a mystic shot, he put that one thing in front of it, and then has a dead vault breaker. And so not a whole lot more than we can ask for than that. Just the only awkward thing here being is our units don't combat or these combat tricks don't work out super well here, since we won't have the spell mana and we're just going to be straight curving into the sky. But if all pans out well, then we should just start to overwhelm him here. Cards like this are kind of awkward for us. But our scout attack is good. We can Sejuani down one of these things. This all seems reasonably okay to me. I want to go ahead and get this attack in first before playing Sejuani, since this was a pretty obvious block that he was about to make, and I want to give him an opportunity to play something that we would prefer to hook as opposed to a crosscut pedal.
Carved from the savage cold.
And the idea here is I plan on hooking this with our scout. I think this Great Horn Companion is our most important unit that we currently have. And then if he wants to put damage onto any of these other things, or get vault breaker blocks with these things, then we can rep a little bit more problem for him. We're mainly interested in getting these scout attacks from this point forward. Sure.
I'm a peddler, not a meddler. Would a mushroom help?
That's fine. We're still getting in for 6. He isn't really challenging our board in any way. So all in all, I think that was fine.
Eminently logical.
Okay. Heimer starts to be problems. The bonus here is that he at least doesn't have very much spell mana to really go off with Heimer this turn, so hopefully we can blow up on his board next turn.
What do you see, boy?
Sure. Okay, I'm going to riposte here. We want to keep our Sejuani alive, and I'm intending on at least giving him one more health with the War Chefs. The War Chef should let him attack through this stuff. If he spends a second card, that's fine. There's nothing we can do about that.
I've always been a fun guy.
Well fought.
We go.
Okay, and then I think we're kind of we do have the option of trying to bring down his Heimerdinger with this Fleet Feather Tracker. I'm just not going to do that. I think that is all in all pretty weak. I think we're okay with this here. He's going to get one good block on a War Chef's. I think we probably do have to go ahead and add something else to the board. So let's get the Raider online.
Round and round and round it goes.
Into the face!
Do we want to boost this? Not really.
Ready, boy?
Oh, we need to do it like this. Hang on.
Batter him!
He smells something.
Oh, it's so awkward because we're going to lose our War Chefs. Is this how we want to do it? Get some. We definitely want to boost one companion because I want this to survive a 3/3 block, whether it's from Flurbygon or whatever. And then the idea was to boost this so that he doesn't just get a value block with the Peddler, but I don't think that's what we want to do. I think we want to boost a War Chefs to protect it.
We go.
We'll accept that he can just get a value block on the Warden.
not a meddler. Would a mushroom help?
Okay, and we should be reasonably safe from this point forward. He should have, I think the 2 cards in his hand are 2 6-cost spells, so that is moderately scary that he can get some big boomage online next turn. But I think this is okay. We should be able to survive whatever attack he has with those harsh winds. And we aren't losing a lot of units here, we're just losing 2, which we can replace next turn.
Before they all...
My most groundbreaking invention to date.
Oh, maybe he doesn't. Did he play 6-cost spells? I thought he played 2 Flash of Brilliances this game. Maybe he just played 1. Ooh, Battle Fury's big. That was a big draw for him, though.
There they go!
Round and round and round it goes.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and Frostbite one of these to make his attack weaker. I don't want to take too much damage since we're getting up to like the 2 and 3 damage a turn from the puff caps, but this single attack here is fine. We'll never be able to play both Harsh Winds and Battle Fury, so I want to see if we just draw a better unit next turn than the Tracker. We should be taking down a big chunk of his team this turn. That was a huge draw. We can't, Battle Fury with this in play, but we can Harsh Winds to make him, he's going to have to do a lot of work to get through this, or survive this here. So return it to my hand, yeah. Okay. A little unfortunate. So at least here we're okay with all of the trades that he can put onto on the companion. I assume he'll just block with like a Floor Be Gone, but that's okay. We're fine with any of these trades. So let's go ahead and get our scout attack in. Maybe we shouldn't have, because now he's just going to play Armored Stomper behind.
I'm a peddler,
But,
not
I
a
mean,
meddler.
are we ever going to win this game without Overwhelm? Like, probably not. I think this is okay. I think we're just going to have to
My pretty
try and take no damage next turn, so that we can try to survive through Puff Caps and then try to kill with Alpha Wild Claw. So if that's the plan, let's at least go ahead and get another unit on board so we can block with this. I think this is okay. Come on, okay, because we can stop all of his elusive damage should we need. Well, we have to. Let's stop all his elusive damage because we have to. Let's go ahead and put it that way.
I concur.
Okay, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have any ways to give Overwhelm. That card just doesn't exist. Well, it does exist, it's Might. He doesn't have Mights in his deck. So this should be okay, because we can Harsh Winds these down. We get good blocks across the board. Really, really preferred to see him make those attacks and just give us all that for free. But let's see. There is a good chance he can burn us out here. Okay.
Eureka!
I've always been a fun
Oh, T-Hex is a problem. This is combat. Okay. We can still Battle Fury through T-Hex though.
They said it couldn't be done.
Okay. Let's see if we can do this. We definitely want to open attack so he can't play spells. Are you fucking serious? We just got... Oh, man. Oh, that's brutal. We were at like 2 or 3 damage a turn and just took 6. Fuck me. Okay. Well, that's the that's the end of it, I guess. I mean, I'm pretty sure if we didn't get nailed for 6 puff caps in that spot, we had that game won, right? Like I don't know if he could have drawn like a Will of Ionia to get out of it, but frustrating. But whatever, it is what it is. You can't win all of them. And I thought this deck turned out okay. What's her name? Let's see if I can expand this. Is that as big as LOR Guardian gets? We can scroll down this way. Yeah, I mean, this isn't really like an ideal Sejuani deck. Sejuani was, really just playing as a better Alpha Wild Claw. That comes into playability to Frostbite and Vulnerable is so powerful. I don't think we're ever even really close to flipping her. I think you really have to have abilities and spells to deal damage to your opponent on their turn if we're ever going to play this game to where we plan on flipping a Sejuani or flipping a Gangplank. And so I think we recognize correctly that we should just be a base Quinn deck and really just take advantage of the scouts. Because a lot of these Freylord cards are fine in our deck here. I would have enjoyed having more things like Brittle Steel and some more challengers to really kind of help with the early game, because that was our big problem here. Was our early game was kind of awkward, right? Our 2-drops that we really want to play and get into combat and interacting early. We're really just we have the Trackers, the Ruthless Raiders, and Stalking Wolves. So we did run into issues with these awkward hands to where we had like Icevale Archers and War Chefs, and they just couldn't really do anything. But all in all, I think this deck turned out okay. The draft portion was weird because it really kept trying to force these Green Fang Wardens on us, which is fine. He's an okay unit and plays out okay. It's just not like the premier 3-drop we're looking for. We were really wanting the what's he called? The Vanguard Sergeant. Vanguard Sergeant plays extremely well with all of these scouts, and so we would have preferred to have had probably 2 of these would be the kind of magic number that we're looking for here. And he also just kind of helps with the early game problem we were running into. And so I think this is a pretty reasonable combination. The things I would really like to change are I would like to have more Brittle Steels and Radiant Strikes. Kind of the way a lot of these decks look is, if we think of how like a Fiora deck looks and wants all of the barriers and doesn't really want to play anything in the first couple of turns, I think that's fine to a degree when we're able to play Fiora and then just play spells on her. We can live with these expensive combat tricks like Prismatic Barrier and Riposte. But with a deck like this, we're really looking to just save like 1 or 2 spell mana when we don't have a perfect curve to play through, because from like turn 3 forward, we're really wanting to curve out with our units, especially being able to play, Grizzled Ranger and following it up with either, Quinn or Companion Greathorn. That's really the idea. So, if we're, curving out afterwards from like turn 3, 4, and 5, we really only have that 2 spell mana, 3 spell mana to take advantage of. And that's what I would really like to see: more Brittle Steels, more Radiant Strikes. But I think we passed on some Brittle Steels and the Radiant Strikes didn't quite exist. And so our deck was awkward in a sense. I feel like our top end was kind of close to being right. I think we just had some kind of awkward draws in there, but I think if we could get rid of back-to-back for another big unit, I would be happy with it. If we could trade out some of who's he called? Some of these just, awkward 3-drops. We have a giant pile of 3-drops. If we could just pick up some more 2s and have like some 2s that we actually want to get on board and hanging out. Like these Icevale Archers are okay, but they didn't play that spectacularly. And so, interesting. We never drew On Guard the entire run. I was really hoping to see how well this played out, and I'm sure it would be spectacular. But we never saw it. With the other new stuff, I was a big fan of Genvivi as well. She does kind of prefer the Riposte Prismatic Barrier kind of combat tricks, but that was okay. This is still an incredibly powerful ability. I don't know if I think she's more powerful than the +1/+1 fearsome to everything when you attack, since that ability is kind of more persistent and that unit's kind of beefier. But all in all, if we see Gen VV, we're gonna be happy to take her. And so yeah, I thought this turned out all right. I thought we recognized early what we should be doing. We made a good switch. It just didn't pan out there in the end. Sometimes you just get popped for 6 puff caps when they're 2-to-1 over top of your deck. That'll happen sometimes. But all in all, nice little run. Had a good time here. Let's check out these rewards real quick and we'll call it a day. No champion. That's too bad. 2 epics though. I at least found like the cost barrier point in like Hearthstone always felt to be the epic, right? You would typically go and pick up the few copies of the champion you were going to play, and then the commons and rares were pretty easy to pick up, and then you really wanted to complete your deck, and it sucked because you'd want to play maybe 2 different versions of the same champion's deck, and then these epics were just so expensive to pick up. I should say legendaries. The legendary cards were what we had in Hearthstone, and so it's like you could go and pick up your your generic legendaries like Dr. Boom, and he slots into everything, and it's great, and it's a real feel-good moment. And then you go to kind of like flesh out your deck, and you find that you have to invest a huge amount in epics. And then once you got tired of that deck, it was a huge amount to invest in epics again for something else. But at least the barrier I found on this game tended to be rares. I found myself sitting on a lot of epic wild cards and actually spending dust to craft rares when I wanted to do it. So I thought that was at least neat. If the barrier for spending dust is at the rare slot, that's a lot more feel good than trying to pick up the impossible epics. But let's finish out these rewards and see if there's anything else exciting. Nope, all the Dreadways. Okay, and that's a little more. Gonna upgrade, give us some champions. Not today. But there you have it. That was a fun little run. That was kind of a frustrating end, but that's what you're gonna run into when you lose to Puffcap decks. Is he could have gone 3 turns in a row with dealing 0. That's why the RNG makes things exciting. But there you have it. Fun little run. I had a good time. Hope you enjoyed with me. This is Free to Play Bust, and I thank you for being here.